Vihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopiyana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopiyana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Vrayajanaranjana. Yashodanandana Vrayajanaranjana. Yamunatira Vanachari. Yamunatira Vanachari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Gauranita, Gauranita, Jaya Gauranita, Jaya Gauranita. Jaya Jagannath, Jagannath, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Radha Vallabha, Radha Vallabha, Sri Radhe. Jaya Radha Vallabha, Radha Vallabha, Sri Radhe. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Grantara Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai, Gaura Premanandi. Hare Krishna, thank you so much for being here today, this morning. It's quite cold morning, yeah, foggy. It was, I was remembering, I think it was kind of a few years ago in Vrindavan. I generally goes in December, January. It's very foggy in the morning in Vrindavan. So when today I was coming to the temple, it's so foggy. Vrindavan, coming to the temple. Yeah. Well, okay, so we continue our study reading Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. It was so nice, the presentation yesterday by Chaitanya Charan Prabhu. So I was thinking today what to do. After hearing those such presentation, perhaps we can try to honor him, but perhaps following a little bit his footsteps, how he organized the class. He said CIT, no? C-I-T, context, insights, and takeaway. So I thought maybe something similar we can do. Again, it's just trying to learn from him, so you will find some perhaps imperfections in my presentation, but be kind with me. So let's work together. And Let's start by invocating auspiciousness and glorifying the Lord. So we recite the mantra Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanang Namaskrityam Naran Chaiva Narotaman Devi Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Yaya Nudirajet Nasta Prayesu Avadresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamai Sloke Bhaktir Bhavaiti Naistikim. Okay, so yesterday we entered a new chapter, chapter 6, Canto 10, chapter 6, entitled The Killing of the Demon Putana. So today is text number 2, and because it doesn't have purport, we will also do the text number 3. So on the board we have text number 2. If you can repeat after me, please. Kanshena prahita gora Putana vala gratini Shushumi charak nigananti Pura grama brajadishu Kanshena prahita gora Putana vala gatini Shushums chacharak niknanti Pura grama brajadishu Kanshena prahita gora Putana vala gatini Shushums chachara niknanti Pura grama brajadishu. Somebody. Kanshena prahita gora Thank you. Translation word by word. Kanshena by King Kamsa. Prahita, engaged previously. Gora, very fierce. Putana, by the name Putana. Balagatini, a Rakshasi who kills. Shishum, small babies. Chachara, wandered. Nignanti, killing. Puragama Braja Adisu, in towns, cities, and villages here and there. Translation: While Nanda Maharaj was returning to Gokula, the same fierce Putana, who Kansa had previously engaged to kill babies, was wandering about in the towns, cities, and villages, doing her nefarious duty. Text number 3. Nayatra Shravanadini Rakshanana Sakarmasu Kurvanti Satvavan Bhartur Jatudanyas Chatatrahi. Good memory. Translation: My dear king, wherever people in any position performs their occupational duties of devotional service by chanting and hearing Sravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, there cannot be any danger from bad elements. Therefore, there was no need for anxiety about Gokula while the Supreme Personality of Godhead was personally present. Should I repeat again this translation? It's quite important. My dear king, wherever people in any position performs their occupational duties of devotional service by chanting and hearing Sravana, Kirtan, Vishnu, there cannot be any danger from bad elements. Therefore, there was no need for anxiety about Gokula, while the Supreme Personality of Godhead was personally present. Purport. Sukadeva Goswami spoke this verse to mitigate the anxiety of Maharaj Parikshit. Maharaj Parikshit was a devotee of Krishna, and therefore, when he understood that Putana was causing disturbance in Gokula, he was somehow perturbed. Sukadeva Goswami therefore assured him that there was no danger in Gokul. Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur has sung, Namasraya Kari Yatane to me, Tatakaha Apana Kaje. Everyone is thus advised to seek shelter in the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra and remain engaged in his own occupational duty. There is no loss in this, and the game is tremendous. Even from a material point of view, everyone should take to chant the Hare Krishna mantra to be safe from all kind of danger. I'll repeat this part. Okay. Even from a materialistic point of view, everyone should take to chanting the Hare Krishna mantra to be safe from all kind of danger. This world is full of danger. Padam pada yat vipadam. Therefore, we should be engaged in chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra so that in our family, society, neighborhood, and nation, everything will be smooth and free from danger. Anangyana Mirandasha, Gyanangyana Slakaya, Chakshuramritanjena, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha, Mukankaroti Vachalam, Fangum Langayate Girin, Jat Kripata Maham Bande, Sri Guru Dinatarinam. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami iti namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve, Gauravani Pracharine, Nirvisesa Sunjavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale, Srimate Siddhano Apisak Swami iti namine. Panchakalpataruyascha kripa sindhuyaya vacha patitanam pavanevyo vaishnavevyo namo namaha. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, thank you again for being here. We will continue with this trying to understand a little bit what's going on, what we can learn from this point of Bhagavatam at these verses. As we know, it is the 10th canto, very special. Everyone, all of us, we have heard that Bhagavatam is Krishna himself. So it's whole Bhagavatam, 12 cantos is representing also the body of Krishna. And the 10th canto is a special part of the body of Krishna. What part is? 10th canto? The face of the Lord. Yeah. So imagine we are in front of the face of the Lord. This is the 10th canto. And this pastime, well, now 6th chapter, special pastime, it said that at the end of this chapter, Prabhupada gives a special boon, a special blessings. I don't know, have you heard? Because we have also a resume of these pastimes in the Krishna book. And every chapter of Krishna book has blessings, the boons of that. So do you remember what is the blessings by hearing attentively with faith this pastime of killing of Putana demon, the demoness? What is the blessings? Prabhupada has said it. Well, I'll tell you. Yes, in case. He said that by hearing with faith this pastime, we will develop its attachment to Govinda. It's what we want. We want to have proper engagement of our emotions, of our feelings, and the best way to be engaged of our emotion is all around Krishna. So if something will provide or facilitate our attachment to Krishna, let's deep on this, go deeper. So let's hear these pastimes, Bhagavatam, this chapter especially, has special meanings. The killing of Putana. Well, going towards the verse, through the verse, in the context we understand that, from yesterday also, it's after meeting Nanda Maharaj Vasudev, so nicely friendly interaction, loving exchanges among Vaishnavas, high level of Vaishnavas, not ordinary devotees. That's just important to understand that. So how they interact, so we can learn from that. So both of them are very much loving each other and also well-wishers. But Vasudeva has a special quality. He has a higher consciousness. Of course, Nanda Maharaj too. But Vasudeva, before leaving or going away, he said something to Krishna. The verse yesterday said that. He said, probably some dangers is coming to Braya, so please go. So for Nanda Maharaj, hearing that from Vasudeva, it's created something like, something maybe happened. Because those words coming from Vasudeva, they are not ordinary words. It's an exalted person. So immediately Nanda Maharaj started to become, meditating upon that and saying, some anxiety, something can happen to him. Do you think that was the problem? He was in anxiety because, some dangers will come to me. That was Nanda Maharaj's worry. What was it? He was worried for Krishna, little Krishna, because for him, it's a little Krishna. So he was thinking of Krishna, and anxiety was for Krishna. So immediately he was trying to go to reach Gokul, but what he did in the process of going to Gokul, going back to Braya, what he did, he organized perhaps calling devotees and organize an army, perhaps, to protect some guards to protect Krishna. That was his arrangement because he was in anxiety. So what he did? He prayed. Yeah, he surrendered to Krishna. Imagine, to protect God, he prayed to God. Yeah, that is the context. Yeah, and that is what we are now about. And we are analyzing that part. But also, because it's Sukadeva Goswami talking to Parikshit Maharaj, Sukadeva Goswami told him, is narrating, he said, because at that time also Putana, that big demoness, she was around because of cancer, she was killing kids or children, and so everybody was aware of that. So also Parikshit Maharaj became in anxiety. Oops, cancer, Putana there, little Krishna. So understanding that mood, that concern, immediately Sukadeva Goswami said, but, Braya is always protected. There is no danger in Braya. Why? Sukadeva Goswami immediately said, why? So we repeated the verse twice as well, not the translation. So do you remember why Braya was protected? Why Parikshit Maharaj shouldn't get disturbed? Pardon? You remember? Well, okay. It said that, I repeat it again, my dear king, wherever people in any position performing their occupational duty of devotional service by chanting and hearing Sravana and Kirtan and Vishnu, there cannot be any danger from bad elements. Okay? So, because in Braya, everybody is engaged in remembering Krishna, talking about Krishna. So, chanting and remembering Krishna, hearing and chanting about Krishna, that is the way Braya was protected. And it's the real protection. So perhaps it's something that we can think about it, so the insights that we can take away with us. By constantly hearing about Krishna, talking about Krishna, remembering Krishna, serving Krishna, we receive the best protection. And this is also stated in Bhagavatam by in the 7th canto, who talk about these devotional processes? Prahlad Maharaj, yes. Prahlad Maharaj in the 7th canto, chapter 5, if I'm not wrong, it's text 23, that he explained the 9 different processes, yeah? Starting from Sravana, Kirtan, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Bandhana, Archanan, Vandanan, Dasyam, and Satyam, and Atmani Vedana. Yeah, so those is the different ways how we can be engaged and receive the real protection. So in this way, also Prabhupada mentioned that we should always understand that in this material world, there is danger of every state. Padam padam, jat bi padam. There's something that we should always be, or remember, in order to not have a romantic or perhaps idealistic vision of life, and then we suffer when we confront some difficulties and challenges. Something that is very realistic, practical to understand is this material world is full of challenges, difficulties. It's the nature of that. We should not be, of course, negative about it or pessimistic, but just be realistic. We cannot expect a perfect material world. Yeah, that is something also, if you don't have expectation of perfect world, so then when you face challenges, you won't suffer so much because it's part of life experience. So understanding this, so devotees, with that understanding in mind, they not just face the challenges by their own, they understand there are very effective ways to face challenges in the safe way, and that is by taking shelter of Krishna's protection. How to take Krishna's protections, how to take shelter in Krishna's protections is here the example of the Brajavasis, the residents of Vrindavan, by constantly be engaged in hearing, chanting, and remembering Krishna. So this is one point that I thought it's quite relevant. And also it's also important to understand, because sometimes when we become or trying to practice spiritual processes like Krishna consciousness, in the beginning, there is a romantic idea. Yes, I'll surrender to Krishna, everything will be smoothly, no problems. Generally, it happens with new devotees, and then suddenly some problems, and they come to you and say, why it's happening? I thought my life will be happy. I'll be happy in Krishna consciousness because it said, chant and be happy, and what's happening now? So it's something that also we need to understand. Imagine devotees, pure devotees from Braja, they were also having challenges, difficulties, anxieties. But they faced those challenges in very exemplary way that we eventually or gradually need to incorporate in our practices. So, living in this material world or practicing a spiritual life, devotion doesn't mean not to have difficulties. Practicing a spiritual life means constantly taking shelter in divine protection by hearing and chanting and remembering Krishna. Okay? So that is what is spiritual life, practicing a spiritual life. And Prabhupada is always emphasizing, especially in this verse, he very clear talked about it. Also, we need to understand about Putana. This whole chapter will help us to understand what Putana represents, Because she is not just a historical demonist that we are learning or hearing about Krishna's childhood pastimes. Putana represents a destructive materialistic influence. But it has a special characteristics. It's said that Putana came very nicely dressed, affectionate, beautiful, motherly, what else? And everybody was allured for her beauty, and so then they thought, oh, she's a nice lady, a demigod, a goddess. And then, nevertheless, she was having no good intentions. Her breast was full of poison. So her intention was completely different. So what that means for us practicing devotees, we need to be aware of not everything that looks beautiful or beneficial, or not everything that is look beautiful and culture, and it's beneficial for our spiritual practice. So that is quite important, because in many times we are exposed to different stimulus in our practices, and we can think, oh, that is beautiful, but we need to know what actually this is helpful for us or not, according to our level of consciousness. So it requires a lot of awareness, but at the same time, be mindful how we are responsible in our spiritual practices, especially for newcomers or new faith devotees in Krishna consciousness. And all of us, we are practicing devotees. We are not in that level yet, higher level. So awareness that we need to be careful and responsible how we interact with whatever stimulus that comes to us, even among devotees or practicing devotees in Krishna consciousness. If we are not ready for that, can be also destructive. So, it's said that Putana represents hypocrisy, duplicity, because she's disguised in some way, but actually represent, or the intention is something different. Bhaktivedanta Thakur also said that Putana represents false guru, something very important to understand. And what else? It said that, for example, Putana, because Kansa has the mission to kill children, he sent it to her. He sent her to do that task. Why children? It has a special meaning. When Kansa wanted to kill children, it said that he wanted to kill the future, the purity that children represent. The purity, innocence, and especially the future for potential divine potentials. But in our actual life, how we that compare? Because he said that materialistic society, materialistic civilization has the same function, attacking the purity of sincerity, even simplicity of life, or trying to depend of God, that people practicing the spiritual life trying to develop simplicity, purity, dependence of God. So we need to be aware of this interaction with materialistic civilization, materialistic society, how that can influence in our spiritual practices. Srila Prabhupada explained always that modern civilization frequently it nourishes the body, but is starving the soul. If you remember the pastime or the analogy that Prabhupada said, the bird in the cage. It's very much related to this topic, how materialistic society, due to the wrong conception of our identity, we are very much engaged in how to nourish the body, the ego, the mental body, and the physical body, forgetting to feed, forgetting to take care of what the real essence is, the bird that is the soul. So this is one of the lessons that we can take away also today. This part is done. Okay, one another point that it's important to what, as we were mentioning about Braja, the real protection that they have, it's about, because they're constantly engaged in hearing, chanting, and remembering Krishna, their protection was expressed in different ways, or different areas. Especially it's said that by us being engaged in these processes of Sravana and Kirtana, the purity of our heart takes place. Also, it's said by hearing about Krishna, our consciousness is protected. By hearing about Krishna, strengthening our attitude of surrender to Krishna. And that's all, even by hearing and listening or chanting about Krishna's pastimes, karma is reduced, is transformed. So, because the cleansing process of our heart, also the negative or the sinful activities or the effect of our past sinful activities also get reduced. So those benefits by being constantly being engaged in chanting, remembering, hearing Krishna's pastimes. For us as practicing devotees, it's very important to understand that point, because we want to have success in our spiritual practices. Now we have the secret, open secret. What is the open secret? That is constantly repeated in Prabhupada's teachings, constantly. Prabhupada all the time is talking about this open secret of the success in the spiritual life. Even he attributes the success of this worldwide movement, ISKCON, the success, it's only because the chanting of the holy names, chanting of Krishna, about Krishna, talking about Krishna, it's widely spread, and we are trying to all the time fostering. So Prabhupada attributes the success of ISKCON to that. If we want to spread ISKCON, if we want to maintain at least, we need to keep doing the same thing. Keep chanting the holy name more intensely, and also talking, hearing and talking about Krishna. Another point that it's a little bit more confidential is the hidden purpose of, in this, the hidden meaning in this part of Bhagavatam, and it's also very sweet, is that despite of the demons like Putana were around, and devotees in Braya were in anxiety for the safety of Krishna, little Krishna, actually, Krishna was never in danger. That is clear, yeah? So, but he said that because the Supreme Personality of Godhead appears like a little child, and the Supreme Protector appears like he needs protection, or for example, the Almighty God, with the creator of everything, with all powers, he appears like a little child in a village. So the residents of Braya, they didn't see him as God. what happened is they see him more as their child. So, and that dynamic, that interaction, we experience here. We're here, and we can even, if we study consciously, trying to understand, we can experience the same feeling or understand a little bit. That dynamic, the Supreme Lord, the whole almighty, powerful, come in the form of little child. And those pure devotees, they see him as their child. So naturally, they will want to protect him. And Krishna accepts that loving exchange. So that is the beauty of and the glories of the Vatsalya Ras. The pure love, the parental love that these Brajavasis, pure devotees, are experiencing right now, and the anxiety that they experience is out of love. And he said that it's so much the pure love, the intensity of their love, that cover the awareness of the divine, the almighty, the position of God, the Supreme Lord. So they don't see that because of their love. And in this way, for example, we can understand that Nanda Maharaj, the anxiety that he experienced is glorious. It's not just material anxiety, the parents looking for, trying to look or take care of their child. It's glorious. Because in this case, for example, it's due to the intensity and the intimacy that the Brajavasis has to see him as their child, their love becomes so strong, stronger, that even block their reverential attitude to the Supreme Lord. They know about God. It's what Nanda Maharaj tried to do. Because he wanted to protect Krishna, he was praying to Krishna, to Vishnu, God, for the protection of his child. So the intimacy of the relationship that they have covered, or is stronger than their reverential aspect, or the reverential attitude towards God. And that is another beautiful, and this one of the sweetness and the sweetest paradox in the Braja Lila is the Supreme Lord, powerful, depending from the from the protection of his devotees. He accepts that loving exchanges. And he said that Krishna even created that to facilitate things, the loving exchanges. But also in the life of devotees, the divine protection of God doesn't always appear like reducing or eliminating material suffering for the body of the mind. But sometimes even the divine protection of the Lord comes through dangerous challenges. But he allows it because it's the only way how can increase the loving exchanges, the Lord and his devotees. So it's quite a little bit more difficult to understand, at least for new devotees, because nobody wants to suffer. We want to be happy, and hardship and difficulties not always produce us happiness. So, and to see those difficulties as arrangements of the Lord for increase our loving exchanges, I'm not sure if I'm ready for that. Do you? Maybe some devotees, yeah. So, but it's important for us to have this understanding, clear understanding about it. It's Krishna, and mature devotees are ready for that, and it's clear, and it's the evidence there in the whole Bhagavatam. We hear pastimes, mature devotees, how they face difficulties, and increase and intensify their relationship, loving relationship with Krishna. And is that also clear in the life of our Srila Prabhupada, when he passed through difficulties in the Jaladuta, for example, when he was came into America, 70 years old, with no money, no facilities, and having heart attack. His faith in Krishna didn't diminish. On contrary, he even wrote the poems that he wrote. It's describing his level of consciousness, his level of surrender and prayerful mood, always remembering Krishna, loving exchanges with Krishna. That is clearly now exemplified by our Founder-Acharya. It's something direct for us because we hear Krishna's pastime 5,000 years ago. Maybe it sounds a little bit far away for us, but if we hear about Prabhupada not long ago, 50 years ago, Prabhupada was here directly, and we have many devotees physically present that they interact with him. So it's more tangible experience for us. It's possible, it's clear, it's something that we also, if we do it, if we follow properly, can experience that, at that level too. And okay. There is one important point that I would like to emphasize, if you allow me. It's something that we need to understand about hearing about Krishna's, especially Krishna's childhood pastimes. Many times when we hear the description of those pastimes, we think that many people also, they think that it's mythology, like perhaps fiction histories stories that we can hear to entertain us, to give us perhaps some hopes, maybe having a good time. But actually, hearing Krishna's childhood pastimes, Prabhupada said, it has or is a spiritual transformative sound vibration. When I read that, I tried to study or memorize exactly what he said. Krishna's childhood pastimes are a spiritual transformative sound vibration. What that means? Do you have any idea what that means? A spiritual transformative sound vibration. Well, he said that it has four points. This transformative effect by hearing Krishna's pastimes, as we heard before, as Prabhupada said, at the end, if you hear this pastime of Putana, you will get attraction, attachment to Govinda. That's one point. But these pastimes, hearing this pastime, the transformative effect is because first, purify the heart. He said, by hearing Krishna's pastime, our heart gets purified. By hearing Krishna pastime, is strengthening our faith, our surrender to Krishna. Hearing Krishna's pastime, it's protect the consciousness. Quite important for all of us. And hearing Krishna's pastime, quite important, awakens our attachment to Krishna. As the blessings that Prabhupada said, you will develop attachment to Krishna. Yes, but the transformative effect of this sound vibration awakens in us affection to Krishna. So it's clear, and so let's understand this process. When we hear about Bhagavatam or Krishna's pastimes, it's not just having fun, hearing nice things. It has a purpose, 4 functions that we need to internalize, be aware, so it will develop in us the proper attitude when we hear these pastimes. It's scientifically. Yeah, now we said Krishna consciousness is a science. So it has a process, has a result. So let's be aware of that, mindful and responsible too. Yes, so in that way, it said that Bhagavatam is not just classic literature. Bhagavatam is the association with Krishna as the sound's vibration, transcendental sound vibration. Okay? And just to finalize, I have another point that is a little bit subtle. Perhaps we can discuss together. Because one of the recurring theme in this part of Bhagavatam, and the whole Bhagavatam, but in this part, the theme is fear. It's fear that Kamsa experienced and how he expressed his fear, but also fear of the Brajavasis, Nanda Maharaj, how they are experiencing the fear, how they express the fear. So we have two ways to compare. Could you please help me to understand how Kamsa's fear was expressed? What was the cause of Kamsa's fear? How was expressed? Any ideas? What was the cause of the fear that Kamsa was experiencing? Pardon? Yeah, the voice in the sky told him that you will be killed. That caused his fear. How he was expressing his fear? Trying to get rid of killing people, demons, yeah? And how was the fear of Nanda Maharaj and the Brajavasis experience? What was the cause of that fear? Praying, they expressed by praying, surrender to Krishna, but the root cause of their fear, what was? Yeah. Interesting. You said that Kamsa's fear was more self-centered, ego-centered, and Nanda Maharaj's fear was because he wanted to protect somebody else higher. So it's different root. Yes, true. Thank you for that, Prabhu. He said that Kamsa's fear is because he was fearful to lose power. Yeah? But Nanda Maharaj's fear was based in love. Because out of love of Krishna, he has that emotion, that anxiety. Kamsa's fear, because he didn't want to lose power, even being killed, he tried to kill others, he tried to, even, the jail to his sister and jailing them, or imprisoning them, killing, sending more demons, out of fear, losing power, and his own safety. But because of the Brajavasis and Nanda Maharaj, they fear out of love. They don't do things against somebody, they take shelter in Krishna. So it's quite important to understand these points as practicing devotees. When we have fear, it's fear for our safety, physical, mentally, our soul, fear for others, how we can channel that experience in a more fruitful and Vaishnava way, devotional way. So it said that material fear comes from ego, and spiritual fear comes from love. Yep. And to finish, the essence of these verses, Prabhupada explained that material world is always dangerous. Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, always will be problems. Padam padam dadvi padam jad padam padam jadvi padam. And devotees, therefore, will take shelter of Krishna. And how they do it? By hearing and chanting Krishna's name, and that create a spiritual atmosphere, create or invoked divine protection. And he said because of that, demoniac influence cannot conquer a place or people who is engaged in devotional service. And danger can appear externally, but Krishna can allow that only to enhance or increase the loving exchanges with his devotees. Okay, so any questions, any comment at this point? Yes, Sylvia.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you for the nice class. Mataji, you mentioned how Putana represented hypocrisy and duplicity because from outside she looked like a demigoddess, but from inside she had bad intentions. So Mataji, as a devotee, how do we safeguard ourselves from being spiritually cheated? How do we safeguard ourselves from being a victim? Like the Vrajavasis, seeing Putana, they thought that she was like a mother for Krishna and they let her give her milk, but she was trying to poison Krishna.
Well, Prabhupada, as part of our training as devotees in the nectar of instruction, there are 6 things that we need to avoid. 6 things that we need to encourage, and the loving exchanges among devotees. That is the framework that we need to have as a reference, how we can practice Krishna consciousness. And the open secret is that always keep in association of devotees, revealing your mind in a confidential way, and serving devotees. And of course, like we hear here, always engaged in hearing Krishna's, talking about Krishna, remembering about Krishna. It's the best way to be protected. But, of course, in association of devotees, senior devotees, you can receive proper guidance. And Krishna knows in your heart. He will reveal you the best way. And also understand if sincerely practicing Krishna consciousness, we face some challenges, as we heard, sometimes it's allowed because Krishna allows that because he wants to increase our loving exchanges, because he knows that we will surrender, we will run to him and say, Krishna, help, help, Krishna. And Krishna will protect in different ways, through devotees, even giving spiritual strength, clearing our misconceptions. Krishna is in the heart too, and by sincerely studying the Shastras too, it's another way to get protection. Yeah? Anyway, that's what I can say at this point. Maybe sounds too trivial, I don't know, but it's what I can say at this point. Thank you, Sylvia. Any other comment or questions? No? Take prasad, Krishna's prasad, another way to take shelter. Yep. Thank you so much. Granted Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Premanandi, Hare Hare Bol.
Kapalen Priya Priti Manti Asyanti Panti Kayanti Jiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adi Purusham Amaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Amaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Namaham 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 Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham
Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanstam Shri Rupam Chakrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tvam Sajivam Shadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanitanstam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama.